Hey, hello everyone and welcome back to Paranormal Time. Today's video is all about the paranormal. Whether you are a believer or skeptic, there is no denying that the idea of ghost spirits and other supernatural entities has captivated people for centuries. In this video, we'll be searching some of the most compelling evidence for paranormal activity, sharing some of the most chilling stories of ghostly encounters, and discussing some of the most popular theories about what lies beyond our realm of understanding. So turn off the light, grab a blanket and get ready to explore the mysterious and often terrifying world of the paranormal time. Let's get started. A listener has emailed us two events that she heard from someone else. I'm going to straight to the story. Today I'm going to tell a short story about on a hostel corridor. First, an apology if you see any mistakes. In the hostel corridor. Hostel life, those who have never experienced it are missing out on a lot in life because you cannot experience how much fun and how challenging it can be. It's like a huge family built with great care. In 2009, there were 4 of us in our room, and in the full hostel, there were about 100 girls living together closely. The holy Eid-ul-Adha festival for Muslims is approaching, so the hostel and many people are transforming into emptiness. Except for me, everyone else has left my room. I was then a student of intermediate. I had a lot of pressure to study science and private, and there were some practical tasks as well. So Safa, Ajmeri, Soni, and Sama were in different rooms of the hostel group. People used to say that this was the entire hostel. There were 2 hostel buildings in our college, 4 floors each with a unique name. The names of both hostels were imposing. Senior sisters used to stay in hostel and we stayed in hostel. In my life, everything I enjoyed was around the hostel area. It was my world of joy because everyone loved me very much. I am Safa and Ajmeri. We 3 are staying in one room to visit the homes of others on behalf of the room. Only we were there on the 3rd floor having a lot of fun. Sometimes around 3:25 at night, Terry Pine was playing. Suddenly, Safa opened the door and said, "Let's see who is walking through the corridor at this time of night." She was a little brave and Ajmeri was a bit scared. Safa went out through the door while I and Ajmeri were writing biological practicals and drawing. After a while, Ajmeri asked why Safa hasn't come out yet. She had a strange habit of spending a lot of time in the bathroom. So I jokingly said, "Let's see if she's giving her boyfriend time in the bathroom." We all laughed. Thank you, and I doubted that it takes her time, but she still hasn't come out. So I also left. There were some breeze blowing outside. I went towards the bathroom. Everything was empty. Then I thought maybe it's blackout. Darkness surrounded me from all sides. With the faint light of the moon, I saw something white and grabbed it out my foot step by step and started walking slowly. When I approached him and tried to touch his hand, he suddenly burst into loud laughter. I asked him if he was trying to scare me. What I saw when I turned my head. A young woman in a white dress. I only have white hair, but her eyes are only burning with anger. A pale face, it's not just a face, it's like a huge dark abyss. I was drunk on blood. What an awful smell. I'm trembling with fear, my whole body is going numb. I'm screaming so much, but it seems like no sound is coming out my throat. I try to pray. On this side, it feels like a knife is whispering through my body and trying to give me deathly pain. And I am trying to escape with all my strength. At one point, I go to the gate of my room and then leave. I hear the witch saying in an unsatisfied voice that your head looks good, because the call for Fajr come. I became unconscious and I don't know what happens next. The next morning when I open my eyes at the sound of water splashing, I see everyone crying. Later we found out the Safa had gone to the 2nd floor, and the ghost or spirit in the corridor was a big sister who had hung herself with a fan seal in the hostel due to the family reason long time ago. And since then, this soul has been wandering around. Different people have seen her in different ways. The second story is about ambulance. Let's start without delay. It was a dark and stormy night. The rain was pouring down in sheets and the wind was howling through the trees. Sally was driving home from work when she heard the sound of an ambulance siren in the distance. She pulled over to the lead ambulance pass. But as it got closer, she noticed something strange about it. The ambulance was old and rusted, and it looked like it hadn't been used in years. As the ambulance passed by, Sally felt a chill run down her spine. She couldn't shake the feeling that there was something off about it. She decided to follow the ambulance to see where it was going. She drove behind it for a few miles until it turned down a dirt road and that led into the woods. Sally hesitated for a moment, but her curiosity got the best of her and she followed the ambulance down the dark and winding road. As she drove deeper into the woods, she noticed that the trees seemed to be getting closer and the road was becoming narrower. Suddenly, the ambulance stopped in front of her, blocking her path. Sally tried to back up, but the road was too narrow, and she was trapped. That's when she heard the sound of footsteps coming from the woods. What out of the darkness emerged a figure in a hooded cloak. Sally couldn't see the person's face, but she knew that something was terribly wrong. The figure approached her car and began tapping on her window. Sally tried to start her car, but the engine wouldn't turn over. The figure in the cloak opened the door to the ambulance and pulled out a stretcher. Sally could see something moving on the stretcher, but she couldn't tell what it was. The figure placed the stretcher on the ground and started to approach Sally's car. Sally panicked and tried to open her door, but it was locked. The figure reached into its cloak and pulled out a key. It unlocked Sally's door and pulled her out of the car. Sally struggled, but the figure was too strong. The figure dragged Sally to the stretcher and stripped her down. She could see that the thing on the stretcher was a person, but they were covered in blood and writhing in pain. Sally screamed for help, but there was no one around to hear her. The figure in the cloak got into the ambulance and drove away, leaving Sally alone in the woods with the frightened figure on the stretcher. The rain continued to pour down as Sally lay there, helpless and alone. She knew that she was in for a long and terrifying night, and she didn't know if she would never make it out of the woods alive. So there you have it, folks. A glimpse into the mysterious and often terrifying world of the paranormal time. Whether you are a believer or skeptic, there is no denying the enduring fascination that people have with ghost spirits and other supernatural entities. We hope you enjoyed this video and that it has left you with some new insights and perspective on this intriguing topic. As always, thank you for watching and we will see you in the next one. Until then, stay healthy, stay tuned. See you in the next episode. Good night.